Welcome to Yerushalmi Peah, Daf Lamed Aleph, Lamed Beis, and we're going to repeat a concept that we talked about and hopefully extrapolate on a little bit more. So the Mishnah is very fascinating. It's comparing Peah to Bikurim, and there's a couple of very interesting things that come out of the Mishnah, and a very interesting Tosas Anshe Shem, which is a Pirush HaMishnayos that I want to get to. So the Mishnah says, the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who holds that Karka Kol Shehu, if a person owns even the most minuscule amount of land, so where is it? He's chayav to give Peah just for that minuscule amount of land that he owns, and the Gemara discusses and says, well, what does that mean? And by the way, the Mishnah gives other examples of what that means as well. So Rav Ami b'Shem Rav Shimon ben Lakish has a kasha. Haga atzmacha. Wait a minute. Think about it. Shahaya Shem Shibol Zachas. You have a guy who owns one single ear of grain. So Ad Shelo Katzar. If he didn't cut it, Ein Kan Chiyav. He's not chayav in giving any peah. But Misha Katzar Ein Kan Shir. Once he cuts it, there's no shear. Now I just want to say, that's his kasha. Okay. So I just want to say that you don't necessarily see it fully, but it helps to understand that when it comes to peah, the halacha of peah is that you don't cut it. The aniyim cut it. So what you do is you start harvesting your field. Now it's chayav and peah, and you demarcate and say this area is peah. So it's not pshat that you cut it and throw it in the corner or put it somewhere, or make an announcement. Okay, this pile is for the aniyim. When it comes to peah, there are other halachas of leket and shicha and shichas omer, which Be'ez Hashem, as we go through the Masechta, we'll talk about more. But with peah, the general consensus is that you don't cut it, you leave it there. A, it stays fresh that way. B, the aniyim are the ones that take it. We know fruits and vegetables stay more fresh that way. Anyway, but basically, so the Gemara is saying that if you own karka kolshu and you cut that one before you cut it, you're putter, and after you cut it, what are you supposed to give? So the Gemara answers, or Chanina B'Shever Pinchas says that tifater you should say Yeshayesham Kelechachad. There was one stalk, Ubol Chamish Shabolim, and it had 5 ears. So therefore, the pshat is that once you cut one, or you cut a few of them, then you leave that last one for the ani. So the kasha is, why does it say this example of 5 ears? So you could say that maybe it's a mitzias that on the stalks they grow 5, but I don't know that to be true. I'm not a farmer. I don't know that much about farming. I don't think that's true. So the Tosas Yantiv of the Mishnah brings down from the smog that it's lav dafka. It's just an example. But the Tosas Anshe Shem brings down from the Lechem Mishnah a very cute shot. He says nearly dinakat vob heishvalim. It says 5. Why? Damavazis ayavazis yoser mechomesh. We've talked about this Gemara in the context of the Bavli and Yerushalmi. If a person gives tzedakah, he's not supposed to give more than a fifth of his property. So therefore, it's being merames that this guy had 5, so he's cutting the 4 of them, and then he's leaving that one stalk, so he's giving a fifth. Now, obviously, this is kind of funny because this guy is that all that he owns? But actually, if you think about it, the Mishnah is saying that it could be that this guy owns nothing. He literally has only the small amount. And the raya that this is what the Mishnah might actually be saying is because the Mishnah says actually all these other examples. Rekiva Omer Karka Kol Shu Chayav Peah. So that's all he owns. Uv Bikurim, and that makes you chayav and Bikurim as well. V'lochtavala Pruzbol, V'lochtavala Simon Achasim Shema Charais, etc., etc., etc. And then the Gemara talks about if you're kosev kol nechasav and you leave off a kol shehu, etc. So it actually could be that literally is the guy, and it literally is dafka that he's mavazvis ayavazvis. Now, obviously, if it has 2 portions, then that would also, you could take one and you could leave one for the ani. There's no isser of that. Remember we talked about how you can't keep your own peah, so maybe this guy would be, if he only owned that amount of land and he was poor, he would actually be allowed to take peah from other people, but at least in the context of his chiyuv, he's taking care of that obligation. So the concept that we talked about until now was always that if you have a small amount, maybe something great could come. We talked about the onions and that perspective in life. So too, this guy, he's chayav, right? The Gemara says he's only chayav to be ola regel, and other pshatim as well. If you have to own drop of property. So a drop of property, what does that mean? Well, who cares? But no, the teretz is that just owning a little bit, that's a good start, and so much good things can come from that. Good things, success breeds success, and once you have a small success, then that can lead to a larger success. Thank you for joining, and have a great day.